Hey guys, welcome back to lesson 90. Today's lesson and also tomorrow's lesson, we're going to be looking at this idea of adding and subtracting our rational expressions. Now, do remember a rational expression, all that means is you have a fraction, and specifically you have a fraction that has a variable that is in your denominator. Now, the reason I have this broken up in days here is there's two different kinds of adding and subtracting questions that we'll talk about. In today's lesson, we'll see that we'll be adding and subtracting where the denominator already matches, and then in tomorrow's lesson, we'll talk about what if they don't have the same denominator, how do we correctly add and subtract with these rational expressions. Now, just to review something about our idea that we'll be talking about here with regard to our adding and subtracting in our two different lessons. We do know in order to add and subtract fractions, we have to have the same denominator. So in our lesson, as we're looking at these rational expressions, just a fraction that has a variable in the denominator, nothing's going to change. We're still going to follow the exact same rules in order to add and subtract. So as I mentioned, in today's lesson, we'll be focused on fractions where they already have the same denominator. If they already have the same denominator, then you're ready to start right into the question with either the adding or subtracting that you have. Just to review, how do you do that? To add and subtract fractions, you only add or subtract the numerator. The denominator does not change. If you have a 5 in both denominators, you still have a 5 when you put your two fractions together. Just to review that with two just regular fractions like we've talked about before. If I had 1 over 5 plus 2 over 5. Notice that these two fractions do already have the same denominator, so we can go ahead and put them together. To put them together, we're only going to combine the numerators. Now, are we supposed to add or subtract? We're supposed to add because that's what this question wants us to do. So 1 plus 2 gives me 3, so I have 3 over 5. Now, we do know any time that I go to put fractions together for the final answer, it does always need to be simplified. It always needs to be reduced. 3 and 5, however, have nothing in common, so there's nothing at all that I'm able to do with this final answer, and that would be the answer that I would have for this question. So let's go ahead and work through 3 examples together for how we're going to correctly add and subtract in our rational expressions. Our first example, where we do have our fractions. We have 7y over 4y squared plus 3y over 4y squared. Notice both of these fractions do contain the exact same denominator. They both have a 4y squared. Because they are completely identical, we can go ahead and put them together. How do we put them together? We only combine what's in the numerator. Well, what do I see in the numerator? 7y plus 3y. When I put 7y plus 3y together, I'm able to come up with 10y. Don't change the variables, just 3y and 7y makes a total of 10y. After I put my fractions together, no, don't forget, we always want to try to reduce. How do I correctly reduce in this fraction? We're going to look at one piece at a time. Now, notice this question doesn't have any pluses or minuses. That will happen on my next two examples, so we don't have to worry at all about the factoring process that we talked about. All I have to do is come in here and reduce. So if I start off with these numbers 10 and 4, well, what do 10 and 4 both have in common? They both can divide by a 2. So I'm going to cross off my 10 and I'm going to replace it with the number 5. I'm going to cross off my 4 and I'm going to replace it with the number 2. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at these variables. For our variables, we have y and y squared. When it comes to reducing with your variables, you're seeing what do they have in common, which is going to be the smallest of your two exponents. Well, the top one has one letter y, the bottom one has two letter y's. So which one can I take out? The one that has one letter y. So if I remove one y from the top, well, then that one's gone. If I take one y out from the bottom, well, I had 2 to start with. Now I have one letter y left over. So what do I have for my final answer? The numerator just contains the number 5. The bottom has both the 2 and the y. So don't forget to reduce your final answers before you give your final solution. And I try to mark that for you as you're looking at your homework for tonight. Let's go ahead and work through 2 more examples together. The next one I want to look at with you is an example of where we are going to be subtracting. Now, when we go to subtract, we do need to be very careful about how we're going to put our fractions together, because we have to be able to subtract everything that we have inside of that second fraction. And so here's our original question. What we're going to be subtracting, if I can get it to come up here, what we're going to be subtracting on our question is, here we go, 21 plus 3g over 5 plus g minus 1 minus g over 5 plus g. Notice the denominators are identical. They both contain a 5 plus g. Because they both have that 5 plus g, we're able to put these two fractions together. Now, with this minus sign, I got to be super careful because I need to make sure that I'm subtracting both things that I have here in that second fraction. That means for the first part, when I go to subtract, I'm going to take this 21 and I'm going to subtract the number 1. Well, 21 minus 1 would give me 20. We want to do the same thing for the letter G. Those are like terms, we can put them together. So I have 3G minus a negative G. Well, minus with a negative really turns into adding. So I have 3G plus 1G, which is going to give me 4G. So I've correctly put the numerators together. The denominator did not change at all. So just be very, very careful with the subtraction question that you correctly subtract both things that you have in the numerator of that second fraction. Now, because of these plus signs, and the same thing would be true if you had minus signs, I cannot just come in and start crossing things off to help me simplify. What I need to do to help me simplify on our question is I want to go ahead and try to factor first, and then we'll simplify together in our question. Well, how do I correctly simplify in this? I need to factor beginning in the numerator. Well, in the numerator, I don't see any squares, so all I'm going to be looking for is a common factor. 20 and 4 can both divide by a 4, so I went ahead and I pulled that out to the front. 20 divided by 4 gave me 5, and I dropped down my plus sign. I pulled the 4 out of the second term, which left us with the letter G. In our denominator, 5 and G don't have anything in common, so I wasn't able to factor that at all. Well, look at what I have now. In the numerator and denominator, they both contain a 5 plus G. Because they have the exact same thing in the numerator and denominator, we're able to cross those two things off because they're completely identical, and that gives us our final answer, which is the number 4. Let's try one more example with this subtraction process. Just make sure we got that idea of subtracting everything that we have in that second numerator. Our last example for today. 2k squared over k squared plus 5k minus 24 minus 6k over k squared plus 5k minus 24. These two denominators, again, are identical. They have the exact three pieces in both of those two fractions. Well, how do I subtract? I'm going to combine those two numerators. Now, 2k squared and 6k are not like terms. I can't actually subtract them, so I'm just going to put them side by side in the numerator. 2k squared minus 6k. The denominator stayed exactly the same with the three pieces that I had. Once again, like the last example, because of those plus and minus signs, I can't just come in and start crossing things off. I need to factor first. If I begin in the numerator, 2k squared and 6k have a common factor. 2 and 6 would both divide by the number 2, and then k squared and k, there's a common letter k that I can pull out to the front. If I do that in the numerator, I pulled out my 2k. Well, the 2 came out to the front. I had two letter k's. I took one out, so that left me with 1 inside of the parenthesis. I dropped down my minus sign. 6 divided by 2 gave me 3, and I took the letter k out to the front. Now, notice in the denominator, you have 3 terms, and you do have that part that is being squared, so we want to break that into our two different parentheses. In our parentheses, I'm looking at that last sign, which is a minus. Because of the minus and our last term, we know the signs are going to be different. I have 1 plus and I have 1 minus. Our key question to help us fill in our parentheses, what did I multiply to get to the 24, and I add them together to get to the number 5? Well, what numbers were those? They were a positive 8 and a negative 3. 8 minus 3 is 5, and 8 times negative 3 is the negative 24. In both of those first blanks, I put the letter k because that's what I square in order to get the k squared. At this point, now that I've factored, I am allowed to come in and start crossing things off. What do we notice is the same between the numerator and denominator? They both have a k minus 3, so I'm going to cross those two things off. The first two pieces, 2k and k plus 8. Yes, they do both contain a k, but the one in the denominator is part of a plus question. I cannot cross that off unless the exact same plus question is in the numerator, so that's all that I'm able to do, and my final answer is 2k over k plus 8. Again, watch out as you're doing your homework. I did write in your instructions on your lesson plan whether you do or do not want to reduce, so take a look at that as you're working through your questions. Tomorrow we'll go ahead and look at how do I correctly add and subtract if they don't have the same denominator, so we'll see how that works in tomorrow's lesson.